Hey everyone, it's Amanda from My Life, My Way. We have some pretty rough news to share with you guys. We had a missed miscarriage. Basically what that means is we had fetal death without actually miscarrying, so we didn't know about it. I'm going to put a couple of videos together. This one's going to tell you about our pregnancy and how we knew we were having a miscarriage. I'm going to put a second video together with how I'm coping, and a third one with what do we do next. So kind of stay tuned. You'll see those go up. I'm going to try and make them all tonight, but I can't guarantee I'm going to be able to make this without ugly crying at least a couple of times. So kind of bear with me. When I posted up our pregnancy video and our parents' reactions and that kind of stuff, we were 10 weeks along. We just wanted to give it a couple weeks so we could talk to some family and let everybody that was really close to us know that we were pregnant. And it was a really exciting time. We've been trying for 15 months on our own, along with going through the testing for infertility. And then we had another 3 months of medications before our third round finally took. And we went in for an ultrasound at 7 weeks and 2 days. And I have a picture, if I can get it open. So this is our baby. He was just tiny, 7 weeks, 2 days. There's not really a whole lot to look at, but there was a fetal heart rate, 143, and he looked good and strong, doing everything he should be, measuring where he should be, all that kind of fun stuff. I keep calling it a him. I don't really know if it was just an easier way of doing things. So we don't know the sex. We never did name it. We were supposed to find out about 20 weeks, and we never got that far. So today's Tuesday. On this past Saturday at night, about 10 o'clock, we had some red spotting. I told my husband about it. We drove down to the hospital. And the hospital didn't seem too concerned because we weren't currently bleeding. By the time I made it down there, it sort of turned to just some light brown spotting. So the hospital wasn't that concerned. We weren't continuously bleeding. I was having no cramping, no pain, anything along those lines. So I figured it was probably just a benign thing. There's lots of reasons for people to bleed during pregnancy. One of the most common being like subchorionic hemorrhaging and that kind of thing, which is what I was hoping it was going to be. They did take an HCG draw that night. And because it was 10 o'clock on a Saturday, there was no text left for an ultrasound. So they sent us over. So they'd call us back the next day with a tech and a time to come in for an ultrasound. On Sunday morning, they phoned us and said they didn't have enough time that day. We'd have to be seeing by the clinic on the Monday. I don't really think it was that big of a deal. We went down on Monday at 10:30 in the morning from when they phoned us. And my husband and I went to go in the room. And the tech said you're not allowed to have males present in the room when we do an ultrasound, which I thought was kind of weird. He was in previous ultrasounds with me and that hadn't been an issue. But we said okay, so we went and sat down in the waiting room. And the ultrasound tech had the wand to my stomach. And I asked him if I could see as well. And I knew the minute he turned the screen that our baby was already gone. He wasn't a whole lot bigger than he was at 7 weeks and 2 days. And we should have been 10 weeks and 6 days, 11 weeks and a day by the time we were in the hospital, getting the ultrasound done at the clinic there. So I knew what an 11-week fetus should roughly look like. And instead it looked like our 7-week fetus, or embryo from the weeks before. There was no heart rate. You could see the gestational sac, but instead of the baby he was kind of against the wall last time, but you could see him kind of moving and fiddling around, and this time there was none of that. It was just a little tiny baby blob laying up against the side of the sac, and I did not see a heart rate, whereas I picked one out within seconds of seeing our first fetus at 7 weeks and 2, or it's like seeing the first ultrasound at 7 weeks and 2 days. And there was nothing. And I knew before he said anything out loud, he's like, I can't tell you anything. I'm like, I know. I already know. So he finished doing the test. they wanted to grab an internal one as well. I said, that's fine. So they did that. Still could not get a heart rate. There's nothing there. And I knew they wouldn't find one. The baby was only measuring 8 weeks and 3 days, which means it only went for another week after we saw him last time around, which actually means that he passed away a couple of days before Christmas. But we're still not bleeding. So we're not having a miscarriage. We're having a missed miscarriage, which by definition is fetal death, where my body is sort of hoarding it, I guess. My body's not rejecting it any. My hormone levels are definitely coming down. They were only 14,000 on Saturday night when we were in the hospital. I don't know what they are today, but probably half of that. They fall, apparently after this, kind of like they rose in the beginning, where they double every 48 hours. When you have fetal death, they half every 48 hours. So yeah, followed up with our family doctor, or with our OBG. They got us in within 2 hours, which was really nice. Sort of a last minute appointment. She's usually sort of blunt, very upfront, very to the point. She doesn't beat around the bush. She's just very like, this is going to be the plan. We're going to do this, and this. Which, because I'm a very dominant personality, that works for me. I like having a plan. This time I saw a softer side of her that I've actually never seen before. She was warm. She was caring. She was very soft emotionally about it. Every time I sort of broke down into tears, she just kind of let me go. And then if I felt bad about it, she just said, no, like, this is a normal response. Cry it as you need to. My husband was in the room. She's like, if you need him to come over and give you a hug, not a problem. Basically what she said at this point is, because the fetus has been dead for about 2.5 weeks, which actually means it never made it out of the embryo stage, that we now need to evacuate it. Like, I have to get rid of it because it's a point of infection now, and that can cause damaging and scarring and all kinds of awfulness. So you have two options around here. The first one is a D&C, which is sort of the old-fashioned way of doing things, which is where they dilate you and they go in with the little suction hose and kind of clean you out and take everything out of there. It's a lot more technical than that, but that's sort of the basics. The other option is to take some pills that you insert vaginally that will cause cramping in your uterine contractions and everything to help you expel the embryo or the fetus. It only usually works up to about 8 days, but apparently it does have like a 90% success rate from what they've seen personally. 70% according to the literature, but they've said they've seen better. So my husband and I went with that option just because it's less traumatic. It's less awful, hopefully. We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to put in what the medications are and everything they gave us in that whole appointment that we did with the early pregnancy loss clinic in a separate video. And I'm also going to put in with one about how I'm coping and how we're kind of dealing with it and that kind of stuff. If I'm a little bit quiet on YouTube for the next couple of days while we kind of deal with this and let this run its course, I'm sorry. Thank you for the support, guys. I can't believe the overwhelming response we got to posting a positive pregnancy test, and all the wonderful people that congratulated us and were excited for us. Yeah, all that excitement is now just, it's got nowhere to go, and that's kind of the worst of it. You know, we waited so long, and we wanted that baby so bad. So, I guess that's kind of it. This is kind of the end of this round of pregnancy. And, I guess, we'll see where we go from here. Thanks, guys.